What's going on, guys? It's Chris, and I'm one with the Force. What's going on, guys? It's Chris here, and I am hyped for Rise of Skywalker. If you're right there, let me make sure you guys hit that subscribe button there for me. Now let's get into today's topic. Let's get it, guys. All right, last video I gave you guys my 5 dislikes about The Last Jedi, and let's go on and bring the 5 that I did like now. I expressed in that last video I was one that liked The Last Jedi, but also understood why it might be so polarizing for some fans and definitely long-time fans. You know, as I've gotten into the Star Wars social media more, as I started this channel and tried to, get in and to meet different people and discuss these topics with people, you see, I kind of see how where the divide was and why some of those reasons were. You know, for someone that's I'm a part of so many different fandoms. I think anybody would say that this is not unique to Star Wars. You know, what's going on, it's going on in a lot of fandoms, I think, where you have this cross between what longtime fans expect out of a franchise and, the companies that may either wanting to, having different priorities, whether it's merchandising or whether it's just targeting a different audience. I think there is something to be said with what we're seeing in all these fandoms, is I think that these companies are discounting how much impact my demographic might have. I think the youth now, they have so many options. It wasn't like back in the day. Some of their influence in what they like is coming from their parents, the people older than myself, my age. So I think they should focus a little more on that than just trying to focus with the kids, because the kids have so many options now. They're not just sitting down in front of the TV set at 6 o'clock after school. Like that's not how it works anymore. So hey, but who am I? Alright, now let's get into the first thing I liked about this movie, and that would actually be the introduction scene. With the pilot, Poe and his crew trying to take out this dreadnought, this beast of an air shuttle. The resistance is on the rope. They have this mission. They really get you into the battle mood. Like, all right, we got to do this. We have this opportunity to take out this dreadnought, and they need to capitalize. And then we get to meet Rose's, her sister. We don't yet know the Rose character, but her sister and the crew. And you end up, feeling a way when all those people that are trying to, the bombers, they end up dying. But you feel a way about that. You want them to succeed. And it just sets a great stage for a Star Wars show, in my opinion. It set the mood right. Them going in for that mission, felt, your battle first. You were right there with them. So I did really like that intro. Unfortunately, it was followed up by, the worst scene in the film, in my opinion, with Luke just throwing the saber over his shoulder. But I did really enjoy that intro. It really got me engaged. I remember when I was first watching it, and still now when I continue to watch it. Great rock solid start to the film. Alright, now next we got all the Rey and Kylo, Force connection stuff. Now, I didn't look at that. I see people interpret all that differently. Some people look at that as a Kylo and Rey, relationship. Most people just see it as just a Force connection. Whatever it was, your interpretation. It really was some of the best stuff in the film. Getting to see Rey, we really get to feel Rey vulnerable and give her thoughts about things to Kylo. And the more you watch that movie, you see that she is really telling him, like, I feel alone, I was afraid. And here's Kylo that, is telling her what she wants to hear, but also not trusting him at the same time. You see that all going on at the same time for her. And for him, from his perspective, he's so curious about this girl. We know that he's seen this girl, that she's something special. And he's conflicted as well. He's had all these things going on. She's with Luke. He starts to tell her, all about what goes on between those two. We'll get into that a little later. Two main characters of this sequel saga really get to see their relationship develop. And coming into Rise of Skywalker, man, I really do think the possibilities are endless. Every video I come out with, I end up kind of like, it's Star Wars, man. You rethink all your theories and speculations all the time. I gave Rey like a 1% chance of being a Skywalker. Now I'm like, maybe it should be like a 7% chance, and just even, stuff here with like Kylo and Luke, and Kylo and Rey, their relationship, like what it could end up being. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and I think what we get in The Last Jedi really sets the scene for whatever we're about to get in Rise of Skywalker between these two characters. Next on this list is going to be the character Snoke. Now, I know a lot of people feel a certain type of way about that character after The Last Jedi, but hear me out on this. I'm less so talking about the backstory we got from him and like actually how he impacts the characters that we do care about. Kylo, his interactions with Kylo, those are all great in this movie. Like him really putting Kylo down about him not being able to defeat Rey, you know, on Starkiller Base. I mean, that kills Kylo, and Snoke is real intimidating in these moments. He's got the guards, he's in the throne room. I mean, I think he really does have an intimidating presence within this movie, much more than he did in Force Awakens, where yes, he appeared big, but he doesn't really do too much in that movie, you know, have his impact. We feel him in this movie. We feel his impact on Kylo, and then even Rey, like we haven't seen anybody do it, like throw Rey around like that. She was helpless against him. I enjoyed him. I did enjoy him in this movie. Hopefully we get more from him in the future, you know, just learning about maybe not his motivation, but just where he came from, you know, how he ended up being the leader of the First Order, which we do know a little bit about, but I understand some of you, and even myself, I do want more with that. Alright, next we're getting into just one of the best parts of this movie, man, and just a critical part to this entire sequel saga. I think the scene between Kylo and Luke in that hut that night, I think it shapes everything. Again, when you get into what the bloodline in the novels, the things we know what happened before The Force Awakens, and everything we see in the sequel saga, I mean, this is critical, you know, and it ties back to so many things in Star Wars. You know, the Skywalkers have always had these visions, right? You know, Anakin's vision of his mother dying or Padme dying. These are the things that drive him to do everything that he does great, and you know what leads him to the dark side. And with Luke here, he sees this vision. He sees a vision when he goes in to check on Kylo, a vision of all these people he cares about dying. Just like Anakin saw his mother and Padme dying. And when he sees that, he acts in a moment of, I'll do whatever it takes to save them. And he pulls out his lightsaber. And then you have Kylo with everything he's been told, all the, you know, the prophecies about his life and the members of his family. And here's his uncle, everything he knows about him, who struck down his grandpa. And now he's about to strike him down too. Like, you could see how both characters would interpret what happened the way that they did, and why they would go the way that they did. You know, this is why Kylo is conflicted. You know, I brought up in my video about who is Skywalker. I'm predicting right now that Kylo is the Skywalker that will rise, and it's because of this scene right here. I feel like Kylo knows that the real interpretation Luke gives us, that it was just a moment of just, man, I messed this up. I should not have done that. I'm acting out of rage because I don't want these people I care about to die. That is the truth. And I think Kylo, in the back of his mind, knows that, but doesn't want to believe it. And he's so far into it. He already pulled the hut down. He killed the younglings. He's done all these things. He's killed his father. He's surrendered to the dark side. He can't go back. But it's like, I feel like in the back of his mind, he knows, like, and he can't take it. He hates Luke because of this, like what he's done. It's what makes Star Wars so great. This scene, I honestly think it's the most important scene in the sequel saga. I mean, we see it in Rey's vision. We see it again in The Last Jedi. You know, as much as people say there's not much connectivity between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, well, this is one thing that it directly carries over. I mean, we see this scene. We might see more of it in The Rise of Skywalker. You know, I think most of us expect that because Knights of Ren will be in it, but I mean, this is critical, and it really speaks to the psychology again. Why Luke knows this. Luke knows that his father had these visions and dreams that led him to the dark side. So when he has this vision and he's about to take down his nephew, when that happens, he surrenders. Now you don't have to agree with that, but like we've seen other Jedi take that route, and you can understand it from that way. Anyway, it was a great scene in the movie. You know, I think it really does just set the stage for where the characters Kylo and Luke go in the sequel saga, and it's extremely important. I'm glad that they executed it the way they did in The Last Jedi. Alright, now it's time for the finale, the throne room scene. Oh my gosh. Man, this was probably the best scene within the sequel saga in terms of just adrenaline and action and just emotion. I mean, this scene hits so many levels and so many points, man. I mean, Rey shows up there, Kylo's delivering her the Snoke to get on the elevator, and they both, remember, they've been connecting through the whole movie. Rey has seen his future. She knows his future. I've seen it. It's clear she sees him there. Like, she knows that he will turn. And Kylo right back there, like, He knows what he has to do. Snoke takes complete control of this situation. I mean, he's telling Rey what's about to happen, what's going down. He's slinging Rey's lightsaber around, flinging her around. I mean, she's got no chance. But, you know, Rey's tough. She got heart. She's trying everything she can, but just has no hope, no chance. Snoke's in complete control. And then obviously the scene where he's turning the lightsaber. He knows his every intent. I mean, this was the shock of the movie. I mean, everyone was just shocked at this moment. I'm really jumping out of my seat at this point in the theater. And then for Rey to just snatch it just like that, just whoop, clean. And then they have that moment, they just get into battle, man. And then we finally get our lightsaber scene. Kylo and Rey fighting together. When they handle those guards, I mean, just great stuff. And then honestly, the throne room, the cap, just at the end when the guards are gone, and Rey like, let's protect the fleet. And then she asks Kylo like, come on, like, let's protect the fleet. And Kylo's like, no, you're actually supposed to join me. And Rey, you just see Rey, like, it crushes her. Like, both characters are there. Neither one's going the other way. And both of them saw the other character going the other way. So they're both just killed. Like, Kyle's like, what? No, like, come on. And then Rey is just heartbroken. Honestly, these two characters, like, they have a great dynamic going between them. This throne room scene, along with all their connections through this movie, I mean, that was great between them. You know, I kind of didn't like what they did with Rey in this movie. I wanted more, but her interaction with Kylo and the relationship that they build, I mean, that's the best part of this movie. Really, the throne room and just Kylo's development. I talked about it with Luke. You know, now I talked about it with Rey and his connections. He's all over this throne room. Kylo, like, was the character of this movie. I mean, so much great stuff from him. If I'm right about what happened to him in Rise of Skywalker, we'll see. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. That's kind of what I think. But Kylo's character is great. I really do love his character. But hey, those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you thought about The Last Jedi. What are the things that you liked and took away from the movie, man? I really did enjoy it. I'm super pumped for The Rise of Skywalker. As we get closer to that, I'll have a ton of Star Wars videos coming. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a thing.